we actually had a 40-year period where the West was primarily arming Pakistan.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, when asked about India's ties with Russia, pointed out that Western countries had armed Pakistan for the last 40 years. His remarks highlight the double standards where India's relationship with Russia is scrutinized despite the West's military support to Pakistan.
Bilateral relationship, the long-standing strong ties. You yourself described the tremendous growth and the flourishing in India's partnership with the United States, as well as with others in the West. And there's just no question that there are tensions between those two trends. So can you give us just a sense of how India squares that circle, reconciles those pressures?
I'd make four or five points about Russia so that people understand, what is the importance of that relationship. I mean, first of all, if you look at the map of Eurasia, there's a very simple, obvious strategic proposition there, which is you have, if you look at the big countries of the Eurasian landmass, it makes sense for those countries who don't have direct borders with each other to develop strategic relationships, which is how they serve each other's interests. And for us, our own history after independence, we've never really had anything other than a positive experience with the Soviet Union and then with Russia. Secondly, during the period of the Cold War, when the US and Western countries generally tended to prefer, at least in our region, dictatorships like Pakistan, we actually had a 40-year period where the West was primarily arming Pakistan, and we turned to the Soviet Union as a military partner. So we have a long defense and security relationship other than the strategic and the geopolitical equations of which I spoke about. The third point I would say is economic. Today, if you look at India, the nature of the Indian economy, we are large natural resources consumers. And for us, the natural resource exporters of the world hold a very special significance, And so it could be a Russia, it could be an Australia, it could be an Indonesia, it could be the countries of the Gulf for energy requirements. As Russia today turns more towards Asia because of its current tensions with the West. For us, there are certain economic complementarities here which come to fore. So there is today, I would say, a kind of a geopolitical case for the relationship, a military security case, economic one as well. Now, how do you reconcile this with a growing relationship with the US? I would even say growing relationship with Europe, because that relationship has also grown. As I said, look, it's a multipolar world. Different poles deal with each other. We're no longer in a world where the relationships are exclusive. Every country wants to get the best out of the international order in the most effective way it can. So it requires, a certain amount of care and I would say perhaps dexterity to manage it. But it has to be done because, it's not feasible to expect that big countries constrain their options and don't deal with other countries, not because of their interest, but because somebody else has a problem with those countries.
All right, that's a very provocative answer.